This is Jane from SafeNet AT. In this video, I'm going to be integrating a Rubrik cluster and SafeNet AT's KeySecure for Government Key Manager. I've already been through the integration once with this cluster, and I cannot clear out the configuration completely, but I can go through it enough to show you how the integration is done. Now here on KeySecure, you can see I have version 8.12, and we have our G160 small form factor appliance. This integration holds true for whatever version of KeySecure you have. Let me show you the configuration of KeySecure as I've gone through and I've completely configured it already for the integration. So on the Security tab, you can see on Local CAs I've created a self-signed local certificate authority that is going to act as our root of trust. It's called KMIP-CA. I added KMIP-CA to the default trusted CA list profile, and this will be assigned to the key server so that the key server knows what CA should be trusted. I also created a TLS server certificate and had it signed by that local certificate authority, and that is the server certificate that will be bound to the key server. And speaking of the key server, let's go take a look at that. It is the KMIP key server, and here you can see the certificate that's bound to it. And importantly, under authentication settings, we'll take a look at that. It is set to do client certificate authentication in the most secure fashion. And what that means is that we are going to be requiring that the client send up a valid certificate, and we're going to authenticate the signature on the certificate. And we're also going to extract from the certificate, from one of the fields, a username. And we will verify that a local user exists on KeySecure matching that username, and that username will also be used for key ownership. Any key that Rubrik generates or imports into KeySecure will be owned by that username. And it's with this option that you select which field in the certificate will be used to supply the username. You have several options with Rubrik. Every option is available except email address. You can use the email without domain, but not the email address itself. So what Rubrik does is when you are generating the certificate signing request, you have to enter a username. It puts that username in the UID field, the common name field, the surname field, and the OU field, and then it also uses that username in an email address. But you have to use this option without domain if you want to use that. So you have many options here. Common name is the most frequently used, so that's what we're going to use here. And the only other option that needs to be set here is you need to select which trusted CA list profile should be assigned to the key server, and as I explained earlier, we're using the default. So that's the configuration of the key server. Now the other thing I had to do up here on KeySecure was create the local user. And if I come to the local authentication page, here you can see I created a local user called Rubrik-1. And you do have to enter a password, but you won't be using it on the cluster. So create a username that you will also use on the Rubrik cluster when you're creating the certificate signing requests there. And they will match up, and that is how authentication and key ownership will be done by KeySecure. So with that, KeySecure is configured and ready to go for the integration, and we're ready to go to Rubrik. So here on Rubrik, to get to the KMIP settings page, click the gear icon and manage encryption. And on this page then select KMIP settings. Now when you first come to this page and you don't have anything configured, you will see this. This is a screenshot I took earlier. Here it gives you some instructions on what to do. What you will do is click the Configure Client Settings button, or up here as well. So we do have that available to us post integration right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. Now again, I can't clear this out, but let me show you what you would see when you first arrive here. It's going to be set to password only. You are going to want to click Client Certificate Only. And again, the certificate will not be here initially. So select Client Certificate Only and then enter the username. And this is the exact same username that you created on KeySecure. So Rubrik-1. And next we're going to generate the certificate signing request. So click that and then click the Generate button again. And here's the signing request. So copy it very carefully from the last dash to the first dash and come up on KeySecure on the Security tab, Local CAs, select the local CA that should sign it and click Sign Request. Click Client as a certificate purpose, set the validity period per your security policy, just make it good for 1 year, and then paste in the request and click Sign Request. It's going to come back with a signed certificate, and here you can see how Rubrik 1 is in all those fields. So that's what I was referring to. So copy the certificate again from the last dash to the first dash. Come back to Rubrik, and you can click the Close button here, and you're going to have to click Configure Client Settings again. And again, pretend this is not here. And paste in the signed certificate and click Update. And what it's going to do is just save those settings. And here you can see updated KMIP configuration OK. At this point it will not have attempted to communicate with KeySecure yet. So you can see I already have a KeySecure configured. So just pretend that that's not there. I'm going to go ahead and copy this address though. You'll want to click Add KMIP Server, enter the address of the key server and the port number. And here you can see it's asking for the server certificate. What it really wants is the CA certificate. So the root CA cert is what you need to get. And in our case, I'm using a local CA, so I click the Properties button and there is the certificate. So I'll copy that, come back and paste it in this field, and click Add. Now at this point it is going to reach out to KeySecure and attempt to establish a TLS session and authenticate itself. Now before I do that, let me come back here and I'm going to click Device, Log Viewer, Activity. This is where you'll see any KMIP activity take place. And now I'm going to click Add. And there you can see it updated the KMIP configuration OK. Now that not only saved the key server, but it actually reached out to KeySecure, and we should see an indication of some activity here. And here you can see this Discover Versions. That is what is sent up when it's just testing connectivity and making sure it can communicate, and KMIP is OK, TLS is OK. So with that, the integration is actually complete. Now, I just wanted to show you one more thing here. If you ever need to test connectivity, you'll notice there's no test button or anything. You're not sure that it can communicate with KeySecure. Here's a way you can kind of fake out a test. Click Edit, and you'll notice down here the update button is grayed out. If you come in here and just delete the last number and put it back, and be very careful if you have a roller wheel, because that'll change that number on you. Come back down and now click Update, and what it's going to do is reach out to KeySecure again. So you can see it says it's OK. And if I look at the display, you'll see there's now a second message. So that is a kind of an easy way of testing connectivity. Just go in and fake change the port and click Update again. So that's it. they're talking, they are ready to do key activity. I'm not going to do anything on this live system to generate keys because it's not my system, but hopefully that gives you an idea of how to do the integration. And if you need any help, please feel free to contact us and request the integration guide. Thanks for watching.